Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
At Bobby's, Britt asked Jason to decide formally and for all, who comes first, her or Carly. He refuses to answer, which Britt says is principally his answer. She asserts she's done with him, as he'll no way cut the cord with Carly, and says for him to stay down from her. Britt storms out. Jason asks Carly what she said to Britt. Carly says this isn't her fault, and Britt came then to designedly pick a fight with her. What does Chase really want? At the Quartermaines, Chase gives Brooklyn the news of his reduction, and if he chooses to stay, that his hours will be more regular. He feels they should take advantage of that to direct on espousing. Chase says his reduction was a wake-up call, and he can't prioritize work over family, and that erecting a family with her is his precedence. Still, he can see by Brooklyn's face that she's reluctant. Has she changed her mind about espousing? Brooklyn still wants to make a family with him, but worries he's diverting the loss of his career by fastening on having a child. Chase insists he's always allowing about having a family, but admits he also can't imagine not being a detective. The hunt for Anna begins. Emma and Gio show up at the PCPD hoping to see Mac, but he's out. Nathan offers to help them, and Emma hesitates because it's a family matter, but ultimately tells him she's upset about her grandmother and that she may be in trouble. Emma says it's been months since her grandmother left on her WSB assignment, and she doesn't suppose she'd go this long without reaching her. Her mama and Aunt Felicia haven't heard from her moreover. Nathan says he'll go check the department records for any updates on Anna from the WSB drinks at Windmere. Lucas and Joss arrive at Windmere for blend hour, and he's glad that creepy butler Pascal is out of city. They head into the living room only to find Ava staying with a martini in hand. Marco, who joins them, had let Ava into measure for some of Jen's artwork. Joss suddenly remembers she needs to go check on Donna for her mama, but Ava says Donna and Avery are at Sunny's tonight, so she should stay, relax, and have a drink. Joss agrees to stay and says she'd love a glass of wine. Marco offers to go get a bottle, and Ava heads to the basement with him to check out Jen's collection. Lucas thanks her for not running out, as he knows Ava isn't her favorite person. Lucas defenses himself to get them some snacks, which is when Joss begs to meddle. Ava returns and asks if she's looking for commodity in particular. Joss says she was just being nosy, and it's hard to picture her uncle living then. The two of them snappily end up in a little wrangle until Lucas and Marco both return with several choices of wine. Here's Peter. In her room, Anna wakes up and has a vision of Peter. He asks Auntie Anna if she's missed him. Anna refuses to believe this is real, as he's dead, but Peter points out they allowed that about Britt and Nathan, and easily, people in his family do'n't stay dead. Anna runs down from him, and he follows her as she keeps screaming, "You aren't real." Peter says his father would be so disappointed in her for denying what's right in front of her. Anna cries that she held his hand and watched him die. Peter says, "Did you, or was it another bone of my father's tricks?" Anna reminds Peter that he abominated Faison and killed him. Peter says, "So I allowed." And deep down, Faison always wins. Anna continues to cry, "This isn't real." Peter taunts her that his father is eventually ready to show himself to her, to have her. Cullum threatens a child. At the sanitarium, Cullum finds Rocco drawing up after some kiddies as part of his community service and exchanges with him. Cullum explains he was looking for Britt's office. That's when Britt shows up and sees Rocco in the room with Cullum. Britt heads in, hears someone is looking for her, and also she leads Cullum to her office. In her office, Britt asks what he wants with Rocco. Cullum says, "I'm proving a point." In the show's final moments. At home, Brooklyn tells Chase he doesn't have to decide anything about his job right now, and she'll support him no matter what. Chase says he has wanted to be an operative since he was a sprat, and he can rebuild his career. He's done it formerly. Still, he also wants to make a family with her, and they kiss. At Bobby's, Jason tells Carly that he gets it. Britt wanted a fight, and he vows to find out why. Jason takes off. In her office, Cullum tells Britt the WSB could still pick up Rocco for that lab trick, claim he was privy to top-secret data, and he wouldn't be the first sprat they've thrown in Steinmauer. Britt gets it, she's abbreviated effects off with Jason, and she's moving to Windmere tonight, so leave Rocco alone. He tells her that from now on, for her sake and Rocco's, she'll misbehave with his orders. At Windmere, as everyone sits and sips drinks, Lucas also suggests they go explore the vault. He grabs Joss' hand to head down, but Marco stands up and tells Lucas, absolutely not. Lucas is taken suddenly. At the station, Nathan tells Emma there are no updates on Anna, but he'll look into this. He can't promise anything, but he knows where to start looking for answers. Finally, Anna tells Peter that if Faison wants her, also he should come get her right now. Peter laughs that his father will come to her when he's ready. Anna cries, I just want this to end. Peter walks out as Anna pleads with Faison to come and show his face. On the coming General Hospital, Joss asks Brennan whether he wants to know what she set about, and Carly meets with Sidwell. General Hospital recap for Friday, January 23rd, reveals that Wes Ramsey returned as Peter August, at least in Anna Devane's mind, so she had a crooked reunion. At Bobby's, Britt Westbourne tried to force Jason Morgan to choose whether she came first or Carly Spencer, but he refused and wondered where all this was coming from. Britt claimed she allowed. She could forgive Jason over the history and now realized she couldn't, so she told him to stay down from her and took off. Subsequently, Jason grilled Carly on what exactly was said during their earlier discussion. After Carly made it clear that Britt came looking for a fight, Jason claimed he was going to find out why. At GH, Rocco Falconeri was in the art remedy room when director Ross Cullum appeared and asked him where Britt's office was. Britt browsed in through the window and intruded, so Cullum shook her hand and pretended to meet her. Britt spoke with Cullum intimately about why he'd been interacting with Rocco doubly in one day. Cullum suggested he was proving a point and began hanging Rocco. Britt claimed Cullum couldn't make Rocco vanish since his family wouldn't let that go, but Cullum suggested he could have Rocco thrown in Steinmauer rather. That rattled Britt, who got a warning about facing real consequences if she didn't stay in line. At Windmere, Jocelyn Jacks wasn't thrilled about Ava Jerome being there when she arrived with Lucas Jones. Marco Rios also popped up for drinks, but Jocelyn tried to make a reason to leave because of Ava's presence. That didn't work, so Jocelyn was forced to stick around and dispute with Ava, who caught her poking at one point. A little latterly, Lucas, Marco, Ava and Jocelyn all participated some bottles of wine. When Lucas suggested exploring the vault and got Jocelyn on board with the idea, Marco shut down the idea relatively strongly and sounded nervous. In prison, Anna hallucinated that Peter aka Heinrich was there riding her. Peter acted like he was alive thanks to one of Caesar Faison's tricks, but Anna kept murmuring that he wasn't real. As for Faison, Peter said father was nearly ready to reveal himself to Anna. GH suckers saw Anna cry over the whole fire as she eventually demanded that Faison show his face. At the Quartermain manse, Harrison Chase gave Brooke Lynn Quartermain updates on his reduction to patrol officer, though he admitted he could take the operative test in the future. For now, Chase wanted to concentrate on their relinquishment plans, but Brooke Lynn bothered this was a response to him losing his operative job and that sense of identity. Still, Chase refocused out he could rebuild his career and defended his desire to start a family with Brooke Lynn, so they wound up participating a kiss. At the police station, Emma Scorpio Drake and Giovanni Gio Palmieri showed up looking for Max Scorpio, but he was busy nearly differently. Nathan West offered to help rather, so Anna and Gio raised enterprises about missing Anna potentially being in trouble. Although Nathan couldn't find any suggestions in the PCPD's records involving Anna, he pledged to get answers and knew where to start. General Hospital spoilers say some shocking Anna news is still to come, so stay tuned. The soft glow of neon lights spilled through the windows at Bobby's, painting the familiar diner in warm hues of gold and red, but there was nothing comforting about the storm brewing inside Britt Westbourne's chest. She stood rigid across from Jason Morgan, her arms crossed like armor, her jaw clenched as if holding back words that had been clawing their way to freedom for weeks. The hum of conversations and clink of silverware faded into nothingness as she locked eyes with him, her voice low but sharp enough to cut glass. Just say it, Britt demanded, her tone trembling between fury and heartbreak. Say who matters more. Me, or Carly? Jason didn't answer. He never did when the truth would destroy someone standing right in front of him. His silence stretched, heavy and suffocating, and Britt felt it land like a verdict. Her lips curled into a bitter smile, one born not of triumph but of resignation. "See," she said quietly. "That's my answer." She took a step back, shaking her head as if she were waking from a dream she'd wanted so badly to believe. She confessed she had tried to forgive the past, tried to pretend she could live in the shadow of Carly Spencer's constant presence in Jason's life. But now, standing there with the truth blazing between them, she realized she never stood a chance. "I'm done, Jason," Britt said, her voice breaking despite her best efforts to stay strong. "You'll never cut that cord. You don't even know how. So don't come looking for me. Don't try to fix this. Just stay away." With that, she turned and stormed out into the night, leaving Jason staring after her, the weight of another broken connection pressing down on his shoulders. Moments later, Carly approached, already bracing herself for the inevitable confrontation. Jason's eyes narrowed as he asked what Britt had said to her earlier. Carly folded her arms defensively, insisting that Britt had come in spoiling for a fight, determined to stir up trouble and place blame where it didn't belong. Jason listened, but something in his gut told him this wasn't just jealousy or misplaced anger. Britt's reaction had been too raw, too final. As he grabbed his jacket and headed for the door, he muttered that he was going to find out what was really going on, because whatever had pushed Britt to the edge, it wasn't going to stay buried. Across town, at the sprawling Quartermain mansion, Harrison Chase stood in the living room, shoulders tense as he delivered news that felt like both a defeat and a crossroads. His voice was steady, but Brooke Lynn could hear the strain beneath it as he explained his demotion, the regular patrol hours, and the uncertain future of his detective career. Instead of spiraling into frustration, Chase surprised her. "Maybe this is a sign," he said softly. "A wake-up call. I can't keep putting work ahead of everything else. Ahead of us. Ahead of the family we keep talking about building." Brooke Lynn searched his face, seeing both the man she loved and the dream he was struggling to let go of. She admitted her hesitation, worried he was trying to fill the void left by his career setback with the idea of adoption. She didn't want him to sacrifice a part of himself just to prove something to the world, or to her. Chase took her hands, his eyes earnest. He confessed that being a detective had always been part of who he was, something he would fight to reclaim. But he also believed that building a family with her mattered just as much, maybe even more. In the end, words gave way to a kiss, one filled with promise, uncertainty, and the shared belief that whatever came next, they would face it together. At the Port Charles Police Department, worry walked through the doors in the form of Emma Scorpio Drake and Gio Palmieri. They were searching for Mac, hoping for answers that might calm the growing fear gnawing at their hearts. When Nathan West offered to help, Emma hesitated, clearly torn between family loyalty and desperation. Finally, she admitted the truth: her grandmother, Anna Devane, had vanished into silence. Months had passed since Anna left on her WSB mission, and the absence of any word felt wrong, dangerously wrong. Neither her mother nor Aunt Felicia had heard a thing. Nathan promised to dig through every record he could access. He didn't have answers yet, but he had a starting point. And in Port Charles, that sometimes meant everything. Meanwhile, shadows and sophistication collided at Windmere during what was supposed to be a simple cocktail hour. Jocelyn arrived with Lucas, relieved to hear that the unsettling butler was out of town. That relief evaporated the moment they spotted Ava Jerome lounging with a martini in hand, perfectly at ease in a place that never quite felt like it belonged to her. Marco soon joined them, explaining Ava's presence as a professional visit to measure for artwork. Joss tried to make a quick escape, claiming she needed to check on Donna, but Ava calmly dismantled the excuse by revealing the girls were spending the night with Sunny. Cornered, Joss stayed, and the tension simmered. As wine flowed, so did the passive-aggressive Barbs. Joss's curiosity got the better of her, and she began snooping around the grand space, only to be caught by Ava. Their verbal sparring crackled like static in the air until Lucas and Marco returned with bottles in hand, forcing an uneasy truce. Then came Lucas's suggestion, exploring the catacombs. Joss's eyes lit up with intrigue, but Marco's reaction was immediate and intense. He shut the idea down with such force that the room fell silent. His nerves were unmistakable, and whatever secrets those tunnels held, it was clear he didn't want them uncovered. In a far darker place, Anna Devane stirred from uneasy sleep to find a familiar nightmare standing before her. Peter. Or what looked like him. He greeted her with a twisted smile, taunting her disbelief, mocking the idea of death as something permanent in a family built on deception and resurrection. Anna's heart pounded as she insisted he wasn't real, that she had watched him die with her own eyes. Peter's voice slithered through her defenses, suggesting it might have all been another of Caesar Phazon's elaborate tricks. He spoke of his father as if he were an unseen god, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal himself. Tears streamed down Anna's face as she begged for the torment to stop, for the shadows to lift. She challenged Phazon to come out of hiding, to face her once and for all. Peter only laughed, fading away as her plea echoed into the emptiness. At the hospital, danger took on a quieter, more chilling form. Rocco Falconeri was tidying up in the art therapy room when Ross Cullum appeared, his polite demeanor masking something far more sinister. He asked about Britt's office, and moments later, Britt herself spotted the interaction through the window. Inside her office, Cullum dropped the pretense. He explained that he was proving a point, casually suggesting that Rocco could become collateral damage in a game Britt didn't even want to play. He spoke of the WSB's power, of secret files and cold cells in Steinmauer, painting a picture of a world where children could disappear without a trace. Britt tried to stand her ground, insisting Rocco's family would never stop searching. But Cullum's calm, unwavering confidence shook her to her core. He made it clear, compliance wasn't optional. It was survival. With a heavy heart, Britt revealed she had cut ties with Jason and was moving to Windmere that very night. It was the price of protecting Rocco. Cullum accepted the bargain with a final warning: her life, and the boys, now danced to his tune. As the day drew to a close, Port Charles sat on the edge of something vast and dangerous. Secrets festered in grand halls and dark corridors. Love tried to hold its ground against fear and ambition. And somewhere in the shadows, forces long thought buried began to stir. On the horizon, more revelations loomed, truths that would test loyalties, fracture families, and force every soul in this town to choose between what they wanted and what they were willing to lose. Because in Port Charles, every act of kindness is a baptism by fire, and every threat carries the promise of a storm still to come.